what if I told you that on one single day, the entire balance of power in the tech world just flipped? Not because of some new app or software update, but because of the actual physical hardware in our hands. Okay, let's get into this, because March 5th, 2026 was that day. The source we're digging into for this explainer put it perfectly. The events of this one day weren't just a bunch of press releases. No, these were massive strategic chess moves with huge ripple effects for literally everyone.
So here's the core idea, and it's simple, but it's also a total game changer. A huge power shift is happening right now, moving away from the giant centralized cloud and flowing right back into the silicon chips that power our laptops, our cars, and our phones.
And this all kicks off with the battle for raw processing power, the kind that happens right there on your desk. This is all about unleashing the silicon brain that lives outside of a giant data center. So get this, just hours after Apple dropped its new M5 chip, AMD fires back with something called Strix Halo. And this table, it tells a fascinating story. Now, Apple's chip has way more memory bandwidth, which is awesome for moving big files around. But look at that bottom line. AI compute. AMD just jumped into the lead with the raw horsepower needed to run AI right on your laptop. So what does this number, 150 TOPS, actually mean? Well, TOPS stands for trillion operations per second. It's basically the speed of the chip's dedicated AI brain. And at 150 TOPS, you can run a really sophisticated AI model like a Llama 3 completely offline. No internet connection, no cloud subscription. This is a huge, huge leap for what's called hardware sovereignty. Your device can literally think for itself. And this quote just sums it up perfectly. Apple set a new bar, for sure. But AMD didn't just try to match it, they completely changed the game. They gave Windows laptops the kind of power to do serious creative work without needing a power-sucking graphics card. Now, this whole on-device AI revolution, it's not just for your work computer. It's coming for your living room, too. Leaked patents for the PlayStation 6 revealed a new tech called PSSR 2.0. And this isn't just about making pixels bigger, it's a totally different way for video games to build their worlds. Just think about that for a second. The console renders a pretty simple image, and then its AI hardware literally predicts or hallucinates all the missing detail to create this perfect 8K picture. It puts insanely high-end AI rendering into the hands of millions, not just people with a $3,000 gaming PC. And yup, this analyst quote just nails it. The future of graphics isn't just about raw power anymore. It's about smarter hardware that can generate pixels using AI. The whole idea of native resolution is pretty much on its way out. Okay, so when you get this explosion in hardware power, you start to see this really weird paradox pop up, especially when it comes to regulation and labor. There's this massive divide opening up between software AI and physical AI. On the very same day that all this amazing hardware is being unleashed, OpenAI is doing the exact opposite in Europe. Because of the tough new EU AI Act, they're actually turning off their most advanced autonomous agents, the AIs that can think for themselves, just to avoid getting hit with billions in fines. But then, at the exact same moment over in America, hardware autonomy is being switched on in a historic way. Amazon officially put 500 humanoid Atlas robots to work in its warehouses. These things are out of the lab and on the job. And this chart right here, this tells you exactly why. The economics are just undeniable. The cost to run an Atlas robot is about $4.50 an hour. Compare that to a minimum of $22 for a human worker. When the machine gets that much cheaper, you've hit a major tipping point. And that brings us to this really powerful quote from our source. This isn't just about one warehouse. This is the start of a fundamental rewrite of the entire global supply chain, one that's built on silicon and circuits instead of human hands. And this whole trend, this independence that hardware gives you, it doesn't stop with computing and labor. It's also about unplugging from the traditional grids that power our lives and our ability to communicate. Also, on March 5th, Tesla unveiled a massive leap forward in battery technology. See, for years, everybody knew using silicon in batteries could be a game changer. The problem? Silicon swells up like crazy when you charge it, and it just destroys the battery. But as you can see here, Tesla figured it out. They created this special, stretchy polymer that basically holds it all together. The result? A battery with 30% more juice and a totally mind-blowing 7-minute charge time. Meanwhile, Xiaomi launched a phone that cuts a totally different kind of cord, the cell network. The new Xiaomi 16 Ultra is the very first phone that can do high-def video calls directly through a satellite. No cell tower needed. And the key thing here is that this is so much more than those emergency SOS texts we've seen. This turns your phone into a truly independent communication device. I mean, for a journalist or an activist in a place with internet blackouts, this hardware changes everything. Which really brings us to this incredible conclusion. The fight for a free and open internet isn't just about software and VPNs anymore. It's now a physical war between regulators on the ground trying to build walls and hardware that can just fly right over them. So when you pull back and you look at all the pieces from this one single day, what's the final verdict? Well, it's that we've stepped into a new era. You could call it the era of hardware sovereignty. So let's just recap this power shift. 1. The AI in your device is now strong enough to go toe-to-toe with the cloud. 2. Going off-grid for energy and communication isn't some sci-fi dream anymore. It's a real consumer product. And 3. For the first time, autonomous robots are officially cheaper than human workers in key industries. The conclusion is pretty hard to escape. For so long, the pendulum of power was swinging towards these massive, centralized cloud companies. Now it's swinging back, hard, towards the powerful, independent, and intelligent hardware that we actually own and control. And honestly, our source just puts it perfectly with this final, powerful line. In this new world, software is secondary. If you don't control the physical device, you don't really own your digital life. You're just renting it.
Which leaves us with the most important question of all. As these devices become our keys to communication, to our jobs, to our energy independence, who really holds the keys to your hardware?